Good evening, and welcome back. Welcome back to where it is that you guys are going to get some good information. So, if you do not know where you are, one thing I need you to do before we get into introductions is share this with somebody that is looking to move abroad. There are a lot of people that are looking to move abroad but do not have the right information, are not doing the right research. And I'm seeing the questions get asked about how to move abroad and what it really takes. And tonight's conversation and this entire platform is designed to give you the thought process behind what so many people are looking to do and actually succeed, yet so many people aren't. And the reason why is a lot of what we get into on this platform. So if you guys don't know where you are, this is Black Expat Life Abroad. What we do here is give you guys the real conversations, bring you the real resources, the things you actually need, not to just make the move, but to actually succeed. In tonight's conversation and all of the conversations going through January are specific. They are specific to you, the person that is looking to move abroad and is not ready to actually do it. It is not just packing a bag, picking a place, choosing your Airbnb, and deciding that you're going to live a brand new life. There are so many things that people are actually moving out of the United States unprepared for things that they never had the ability to utilize. The American privilege that you possess. It doesn't work in the United States. I get it. But a lot of you guys, the under marginalized, the overworked, the overwhelmed, you guys are in a scenario where, despite what you are in the United States, you being an American, yes, the American person, I'm talking to you. You being an American, you are in a position of privilege. This conversation tonight is going to talk about the culture shock that you're going to have when you move abroad, what that feels like, what that looks like, but also the reverse culture shock. The first time that you may be in the advantageous seat. Some people call it the catbird seat. What do you do with privilege that you've never been able to maneuver, utilize, work with others in conjunction with? These things are best positioned within a conversation. So the conversations on this particular January series are the 21 days of relocation, but they are a reality check. The reality check is essentially giving you conversations that most people won't have with themselves. I always ask you who you are, but it really comes out on the other side of the TSA. Who you really are at the core when you don't have finances or security or food safety, all of these things, the weight of America. What do you do with these things and the privilege that you have that you didn't realize you have? Now, I don't know who you are. Maybe you're a rich person, but most people that watch this, I would say, are the average person. Get up, go to work every day, depending on who you are, depending on what subcategory of people, and the subcategory is just from a majority perspective, whether you are black or a different color other than the majority color, whether you are LGBTQ. You could be one of those scenarios. You could be a single mother or a single person. There are so many different subcategories that everybody can fall in. But one of the things that you, as the American sitting in the position that you are watching this, whether it is on the way home from work, whether you're sitting on your couch, one thing for certain is you have a privilege that only gets unlocked in the outside of the United States. And a lot of people don't realize that when you travel, it gets brought to the front. So, depending on which of those subcategories you fall into, I will tell you that you run into immediately on the other side of TSA having a privilege. Most of the places that Americans are frequenting, Jamaica, places in South America, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, different places in the Caribbean, it's not a one to one. Your dollar goes further. So when we look at the privilege of that, where your $1, which it only goes one to one in the United States, but you guys have the top expat destinations where your dollar is supposed to go further. Maybe it's 20 to 1, like places in Cape Town, South Africa. Maybe it is 18 and 17 to 1, like in Mexico. Maybe it's higher when you go to places in Africa or further in Africa, or even all the way to different countries in Asia. In Colombia, it has ranged from 3,500 to 4,000 in the last couple of years to $1. So what that does is automatically propel you into what I saw on the internet. One guy was saying, "Hey, when we 30, I make X amount of dollars. I don't know if it was 30,000, but when I was living in the United States, just a regular Joe. But I'm taking my American dollars and moving it and living over on this side of the world. I now am in the 1%. But therein lies the gray area of who you are. So we have to get down to the brass tacks of not only the culture shock of learning a new language, learning a new pace of life, because that is going to help you get prepared. But one thing that I can't do is prepare you in how you are going to act with keys to a Ferrari that you always owned and you never was able to drive. And you might not say it's a Ferrari because it doesn't feel like that. But the American privilege of having, at least today, right now, yes, it is going up and down, and hopefully it stays right there and goes back to where it should be or whatever the case is. But the American dollar is a global dollar that allows you to position yourself in many places to have a more advantageous life for yourself. So many people, when they look into moving abroad, are at it for a financial reason. The cost of the United States is just a little too high. I get it. So you're looking for places where that burden can be eased. But if you are somebody that is from a subset of people, and like I said, sub by I mean the number of people, not by subhuman, because I know people like to argue on the internet. But I say that is because if you are one of those subset of people, you may be in a position where you may have felt like the man's got it on my back. I can't get ahead. Even if it's just from I don't have money, could be even that subset of people. But when you finally get that dollar amount, who do you become? I think that's one of the most important reflections into moving abroad because a lot of people are just worried about what it's going to be like for them and not realizing that the communities that you are looking to be a part of are already sustainable. They're already working without you. They don't need you, you need them. And a lot of the privilege that we talk about with the American privilege and the American mindset is we have so many caterances, even when coming from a subset of people in the United States. And you say, well, I don't think this and I'm not this way. Well, I challenge you to think about it a little bit different. You go to a restaurant and order a meal and you eat a fourth of it and you're like, you know what? I don't like this. Can I send this back and can you take it off? Well, the customer's always right in America. So we take that and thinking that is a blanket statement for how do we travel the world and traverse the world and interact with other people. Now, something that's small is thinking, so, oh, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe that's trivial to you, but not realizing that those American privileges that you have, that yes, you're going to give up or change some things about your life, but a lot of things that the people that actually succeed on the other side of the TSA that change or acquiesce to how the culture is, they're not in a scenario of loss or a scenario of, well, I can't do that anymore. It's a more intentful move and it's an intentful environment. So when it comes to the first half of tonight's conversation regarding culture shock, I always tell people it's okay if you don't move abroad. You might not think so, but I always tell you if you're not ready to move abroad, stay right there. Just stay there. Because if you're thinking that America is waiting for you on the other side of the TSA, you are completely wrong. America has territories, United States Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico. Those places aren't America. There aren't another state in America. Now, other countries have similar scenarios, but those places are almost a representation of that country in another place. You go to French Canada, and it's almost like France in Canada. But America doesn't have that foothold as much as people would love to think so. So America's not waiting for you. So you think about culture shock, and it's just like it shouldn't be as much culture shock if you've done the right research. So let's start there. Because if you're not willing to learn the language, then why are you looking to be there? That is a question that comes up all the time. Do I need to learn Spanish? Well, I mean, it's the local language. So when you talk about culture shock, it shouldn't be a shock that the people don't all speak English. I tell you, I have no problem telling you, the person that is thinking that moving abroad is going to be the solve of their problems, to stay there, because if you're not ready to change, then you may not be ready to move. You need to be ready to be open for these things. The things that at 30 plus years old, you may have never experienced. And you might say, well, I don't do that. Well, not doing that may be a part of the culture. So why are you going there if you don't want to learn the local language? If you don't want to go at the pace of things? I run a weird scenario because I speak specifically to Americans, and I work with, I would say, 99% Americans, bringing them, and whether it's bringing them for relocation or working with them in travel. Yet one thing for certain, it is always funny because I have to navigate what Americans' speed and pace are regarding expectations and how things and how fast everything should go. And places like Colombia, Mexico, Dominican Republic, because the pace of life is different. You want an answer right now. It should be done today. That hustle culture is the reason that you're looking to leave the United States, but you want to go blanket that statement and all of that around the world. But you are oftentimes, and I say to people, why are you looking to make the place that you're running to? Why are you looking to make that the place that you left? Why? So a lot of the culture shock problems comes because, one, you didn't think that everybody was just going to be speaking Spanish. Did you use the Google and the AI that you got access to, the smartphones that you're probably watching this on? Did you use it? Just a little. That way, it will actually give you something that you can use in this relocation journey and this thing that you're thinking that this is a solve to my problems. Culture shock is, most of the shock is in you. The culture is already doing what the culture does. Can you start learning the local language, whether it's Indonesian, whatever the local language is? Do you not realize that there's millions and maybe even 1 billion people, depending on where you're going, looking for what? To just speak English because that's where they are? The pace of everything. One of the unique things in Colombia, and I was definitely had to get used to that. It's not often that many people even talk about this because it's not Googleable, it's not searchable, it's not on your radar. But in Colombia, a lot of people will stand mighty close to you. And in the United States, somebody standing close to you, like, you about to trying to rub my pockets? Why are you standing so close to me? Just went through the pandemic, 6 feet. Never mind, before the pandemic, that wasn't cool either. Yet in a place like Colombia and many other places around the world, personal space is not observed as normal. What you gonna do? Are you going to act as if you would in the United States when somebody disrespects you, makes you upset, lash out? I'll curse a person out in no time. You are going to be the culture shock in your new place. And then you're going to be like, well, why didn't everybody understand that? Because no one acts like that where you are going. And that doesn't have to do with anybody's subset or anything. Americans have just expectations that they take on the other side, and they ask the immigration agent, can you let me into your country? And they say, sure, yeah, let me go stamp your passport. Then they get there and it's like, cool, where's the American stuff? I expect them to know that things are supposed to be done and when I ask for it quickly. What's the turnaround time on this? Because I need this today. I need this now. And he actually needed this yesterday, but we're here. So can you give it to me right now? And I run a unique gray scenario because I have to work with American expectations and the reality of maneuvering in other locations and being like, people don't just jump because nobody's just waiting for you. They run a business, they have a life to live. So a lot of the culture shock when moving abroad comes down to your lack of preparation when it comes to education of where you're going. How are things going when there's not Mia involved? That's where the shock comes from. Not the doing the intentful research and saying, hey, I want to go to Indonesian culture, I want to go to Thai culture, but I don't know anything about Thai people. I don't know anything about Colombian people. I want to go to South America. Well, they're Colombians are not Ecuadorians, are not Paraguayans, are not Uruguayans, are not Chileans, are not Argentinians, are not Brazilians. Now we're talking about different languages, never mind completely different cultures. You guys are blanketing the statements as if you guys are Christopher Columbus. You're just sailing west. looking for better lives, and I tell you to stop. Because so many of you guys don't realize that you are now becoming, yes, you also the people that have moved abroad and may to be tuning in, and maybe the people that haven't moved abroad are like, who are you talking to? I'm talking about the people that have moved abroad and become the people that they are actually running away from. Oh, you didn't realize that I'm gonna come there today? I'm gonna go there tonight because tonight isn't about me. I'm already here. Tonight is about the global message, the global community, the global people, not realizing that. I tell people in America, you got people that will leave Philadelphia because they done did wrong and move to Atlanta and start over until they run their name in the mud, and then they go to another city. There's some people in the United States, never mind the people that are just overworked and overwhelmed, that now see the global populace as a way to bring the terribleness that they are from America to the global population. There are people that maybe aren't even those people. Maybe are somebody that's really humble, it's really meek, and they don't make a lot of noise. They don't flash a lot of stuff. They're not, flaunting money and stuff because they live a basic life. There's those people. And believe it or not, all of those people are still coming around off of the on the other side of the TSA and doing the same thing. Becoming who you say you don't want to be. The Karens, the Kens, whatever it is that you want to put it as far as a moniker, the people that you don't want to be. The people that will call the police because the music is too loud. We see this happen in New Orleans. We see this happen in Philadelphia. We see this happen in places in Harlem and Brooklyn. But you guys are turning around and saying, they moved into my neighborhood, so I'm willing to go move into somebody else's neighborhood in another country and do the exact same thing and not even realizing it. Your pain, your what you are feeling, the thing, the angst, the anxiety that is making you say, I want to go move, doesn't give you the right. It doesn't give you the right to take what it is that you are looking to leave and just go spread it around the world. And I always talk to the subset of people because the subset of people are the ones that are in America feeling marginalized, overwhelmed, overworked, held back. But imagine if you turn around with the privilege that you've never had but always possessed, and now you are the person that you ran away from. You just didn't have the opportunity to do it. It's not that it wasn't in your heart, you just didn't get the chance. So when it comes to culture shock and the reverse culture shock of this, it's the mirror once again, guys. It's not a 21-day happiness and wellness check. We can go do a wellness check and have a whole mental health month, but this is a reality check. You may be in the group chats, the Facebook groups, the things, the relocation content, and you're seeing all of this different content come out. Oh, let me tell you how far everything's $400 here. Everything's the bottles and the clubs and the ladies and the men and whatever it is that you had. It's just living the life of Narnia. It's living the life of Riley. It's not even in a biblical place, but it's just like Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like I can do anything that I want here because I now have the privilege to do so. And I always ask you, who are you before you go leave? Because that's who's going to be out here in these international streets, not this meager person that is acting like, oh, well, if I just had the chance, then I would throw money in the club. But no, I don't have the money, so I can't do that. But I really, really want to because you should stay at home. You should stay at home because the culture shock and the reverse culture shock is maybe dangerous for you. You think this is the first time you can throw money, but you might not move to a place where that is acceptable. You might not move where a place that is wise to do. Yet here you are doing it, taking your American expectations into a new place, expecting, hey, I'm an American. Look how long it took to go get Brittany Griner over a vape pen. You think we knew who Brittany Griner was? Who are you? No one even knows who I am. They're not gonna come get me because I done took my American privilege and spread it around and then got me into trouble in Colombia. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that for you. Yeah, people are moving around this globe, these different expat communities, different communities, and thinking that the world owes them something, that the world was just waiting for you. That most of the culture shock becomes because you didn't know what the hell was going on. And I tell you, the resources are here. The platform is here. We give you pause in these reality check conversations, but you can go check YouTube, Black Expat Life Abroad. There are over 300 videos where we talk from different perspectives as well with other people regarding the things that you need to know. It's a nice conversation. The reality check conversations are different topics to put the mirror up. You need to look at yourself. You need to see who you really are and ask yourself before you move. You are a person that wants to scam people and lie and rob. And it's been working in the United States. All I got to do is just go to a different city. Those things may not work overseas. Nobody's coming to save you. Never mind none of the extremely egregious things like that. But even some of the things where I tell you guys, you don't know what privilege that it is that you have until you have it. I remember when I first got here, and I remember walking down the street, and it stopped me in my tracks. It stopped me. I stopped, and I was like, my partner says, what's that? I was like, is this what they feel like? Is this what the privilege feel like? Like, I got enough money where, that's like, I wasn't coming from a scenario of didn't have any money, but, from a 4,000 at the pay time, it was 3,800 pesos. So, if you got $1,000 in your bank account, you are technically a millionaire in pesos. Even seeing those numbers could be like, it's different. Never seen my bank account look that high. The ATM receipt looked that high. And I said, wow, it feels a little different. But what do I do with that? What do you do with that? It all hits us a little bit different. The moment that you realize that you aren't the marginalized person. No, you are America first when you are abroad. That's why marginalized people get asked about what the hell's going on with Donald Trump, what the hell's going on with so and so in the United States, and what is going on with this. And you're like, do you know what happens to me in the United States? No, they don't. They know that you're American. So that privilege that I told you that you have, now they're gonna say, oh well, this may be the price, or let me cater to you because you have American dollars, or you have more money, so you may tip more. You've never experienced that being the marginalized person in the United States. Yet here you are on the other side of the US at the TSA and not realizing that the privilege was always in your backyard. It was always in your pockets. It was always in your possession. Now you're like, oh snap, my money goes further. I couldn't throw no money in the club, but now I'm throwing money in the club in a country that is not known for throwing money in the club. People don't do that except, who? Ignorant, arrogant Americans. The IAA. A lot of you guys don't realize that you are the ignorant, arrogant Americans that you say, I would never be that person. You've never been in that car. You never drove. You never walked in those shoes. So I want you guys to realize that a lot of the culture shock, a lot of the reverse culture shock is, whoa, they're not looking at me like I'm black or I'm gay or I'm a woman. They're looking at me like I'm an American. And that right there changes people. You now have financial access that you didn't have, power, buying power. I told the guy, I look in the guy's eyes, now I'm the 1%. It's an awesome feeling. Is it? Is it? That is the reflection that you have to do. That is the culture shock and the reverse culture shock of moving abroad and not realizing. So I had this whole time. Now you want to treat me as if I'm, man, they were, you see it even in Asia, people want to take pictures with me. They've never even seen black people in some places, not in real life. You might be the first representation of real black people they could touch, or the real marginalization that they could touch. These things aren't recognized until you are in the shoes of them. Yet it is not everyone else's job to get to your ignorance and say, oh, well, he just doesn't know. You're a grown person. There's no children here. You're looking to probably bring children to there and not realizing that you didn't even have this conversation with yourself. I'm running from this. I'm running from that. I'm running out of the burning house that is America. Not realizing that all you wanted to do in your core was just be in a position to do the things that you wanted to do in America. You just couldn't afford it. And that right there will cause friction with you, your success rate, you with the community, whether it's expats, the local community. You won't fit in. The culture shock is going to send you into static shock. You will literally be paralyzed. You won't know what to do, overwhelmed. You might come. I, I hear all of the stories. I hear all of the stories. So many different people jump out of America and wing it. Get there and say, "Oh my gosh, it's completely different than I realized. I didn't have it figured out. I didn't map it the way I should have." You may have different ailments. It might be mobility. It might be you may need to get certain medications, or you may have certain things like I need to be close to my kids' school wherever I put them, and whatever it is. And it's like you guys are navigating this as if you already know, because I know the culture shock of what the third world countries, the ones that are on the top expat destinations that you are running to, where your money will go further, they aren't as effed up as they've been told once you see it. And there's a lot more nuances once you get there on the ground. That's why I tell people, like, we put the relocation tours together because that is a step that you have to take. Getting you a visa is the easiest part as far as just applying, like, but you moving with intent, learning the local neighborhoods, you get a culture shock. My mom lived in West Philly. She came to Medellin the first time and said, RJ, I know you wouldn't live in the hood. I know that enough about you. You're not moving from where I had you grow up at to go live in the hood in somebody else's environment. But I didn't think Colombia looked like this. I don't want to go home. She said, I don't go home. You don't want to go back to the safety and comfort of Philadelphia, West Philadelphia, and all of the things that we know. And you can put any particular city or neighborhood onto it in America. But her mind was blown. This was a woman that didn't get the chance to retire or get a passport until she had already, see the world until she had already retired. She's getting to see this in the later parts of her life. You guys are in a position to start seeing this in the earlier parts of your life, or middle age, or hey, I have a unique environment, or you might be in retirement, but you want to have a chance to see it. But I will tell you, you will run into a scenario where it's not going to work. The culture shock, the weight, the water of it is just going to be too heavy. It's going to be too high. The reverse culture shock of who you've become on the other side of the TSA. I was talking to my homegirl today. Shout out to Jazz. She had, I was in Playa for like 5 months or so. And I didn't realize this, and it makes sense though, but I didn't realize this, that the same way as I mentioned, people ruin their name in Philadelphia and go to Atlanta and then leave to Florida, then go to California, and then just all the United States and the major cities, they can't do business anywhere. People are now doing these in international places, and it's so funny. I tell you guys about you becoming the Ken and the Karens that you don't want to be, the ones that you are saying, hey, I'm getting rid of this and away from these things. You come on the other side and expecting America, so you are not only on the ground putting out negative energy and not realizing it, but you are also going to the internet. That's one of the best things to do. I'm here to position you guys for success. If you guys listen, that's on you. But if you don't, I guarantee you remember this conversation if you are listening, because it's where you probably went wrong. Because so many people are running into these new places and acting like the colonizers that they say that they don't want to be, the gentrifiers, the people that will say, hey, and you don't even realize gentrifying is both something that is intentful and saying, yes, I don't care. I got plenty of money and it costs me whatever because I don't care. Or I'm ignorant and I don't even know how much things cost. So I'm willing to pay whatever to just get out of my situation. You could be two levels of the gentrifier and not even realize it. You could be the person that comes and says, well, it's $5,000 or $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles. So for me to pay for a 2-bedroom apartment, first of all, it's probably $5,000. For me to pay $3,000 a month in a place like Colombia and Mexico, that's a deal. That's a sold deal. I just saved $2,000 a month. That's the logic. Now, realizing that before you live there, maybe a local family or maybe a gringo or an expat or an immigrant, whatever it is, the moniker that you want to put on it, maybe they lived there and understood the culture and the language and maybe understood even negotiation tactics and only paid $1,500 or $1,000. whatever the number was. But now it's set. Now it's three times that. Now it's $3,000 because you were escaping a bad scenario and just ran up the price. So when you say, well, why everybody so upset? Or why everybody seem not to want to interact with me because I don't speak the language and I just keep, I got my translator. People will pull out their phones and it's like, you want to have a whole conversation over a translator. There's no middle ground. You don't even want to try. So the reverse culture shock of who you become because you think that a $2,000 savings, damn the people that was here already, and if it's going up $1,000 a month because I don't care about that, I'm saving $2,000. One of the things I saw recently, and it was the saddest thing. I'm talking to my people of the diaspora, and the diaspora I'm talking about is us. And if you don't know who us is, then you are not us. But I'm talking to us. And when I say this is because I have I got really annoyed about something that I saw here in Colombia, and I thought it was very I just thought it was rather ignorant to do. And what the general scenario was, and it's not the first time I've seen stuff like this, is just we have to stop this. We get this newfound privilege, us, you know, us Black Americans, and we go run around and acting as if we don't realize that we have this privilege. And one of the content things that I see coming out, and I saw was an article written. They just had Desi December in Ghana, and one of the things that I saw was that so many folks had went out there, done the parties, done the events, and then went home and told everybody that they didn't do it. And the credit card, they canceled all the transactions, and people were losing their businesses in Ghana. People were out thousands of dollars. And there was something I saw recently that was the exact same thing. American telling others how to navigate a particular environment. And I always tell people when it comes to safety and navigation, it's about how you navigate danger. And this scenario was very distasteful, which was, oh, well, this entire city is full of scammers. So what you should do is put everything on your credit card when you go home, dispute what you think is non-worthy. Now, most people are going to not hear the non-worthy part and just say, put it all on the credit card and go dispute, and not realizing that this is a level of tourism that I'm seeing become more common and common and common. And I'm seeing people that want to go viral, people want to go be made TikTok creators, people want to go get TikTok and social media money, and are making this content that is enraging, but it goes viral. It's got the likes, got the views, it's got the reposts, got the shares, and everything else. And not realizing that, one, you are actually taking out of a community. You are blanketing the people. If a person that was seen of a colonizer perspective went into a sub category majority city and said all of the people that were here were scammers and this is how we should operate around these kinds of people, what would you do in America? Yet those same people that are in said marginalized cities and places, when given the privilege, are now turning on their cameras, putting their phones up to their faces, and telling other people how to go out, have a good time in a place. Don't worry about it. You can just call and get home and dispute the credit card transactions. It is the most distasteful things that I've seen. So a lot of the shock when it comes to the culture shock of moving is one, seeing how others move. Seeing people just like you, or people that ran from some of the things or left some of the things and said, I didn't want that in my life, now become the people that they said that they didn't want to be like. You've seen it so many times in America, whether it's we got on the basketball team or the cheerleading team or fraternity or sorority, and they went from one person into on the other side of that, they became somebody different. You are at that crossroads right now. The one thing is, in the same way that they didn't know what it would be like when the girls talked to them, when people paid attention to them, when they had a certain power. They didn't know what it was going to be like. They could lie to you and say they were until they were blue in the face and say, I'm not going to be like that. But did they even ask themselves who they really were? Did they even test drive to see how it was? Set their expectations on who they expect to be in their new life? Because you are at the crossroads. If you don't realize it, welcome. Leaving America and staying in America is the biggest crossroads you ever had in your life. But who you become on the other side of the TSA is only something that you will shape. Only the intent of who am I? If I wasn't nobody, if I didn't have money, if I had to work with others and we were just in a community, would be my ideals? What would be my ethics? This is where so many people get the move wrong because they don't think about this. This is about your success. You working well with the community of local people. You working well with the community of immigrants, expats, gringos, whatever you want to call yourself. That's where your sustainability is. Go buy a ticket right now. You can leave. You can be here tomorrow. Don't mean you're gonna stay. You mean you're gonna have a good time. You're not gonna put yourself into danger. You're not gonna understand where to go, how to navigate, what things that you need. Thinking that, oh, I travel all the time, so I know what to do. No, you don't. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to do because you travel all the time. You don't relocate your entire life all of the time. That's not what you do. I'm a traveler. That statement right there has put so many people into bad scenarios on the other side of TSA because they take going to one place and one place and one place and then say, well, I'm a traveler, so this is what I expect from the other place. And that's not right, Christopher Columbus. So tonight, I hope y'all realize that you may be in a scenario where you don't know it all. You may be in a scenario where the relocation journey is a lot longer than you thought it was supposed to be. It wasn't just picking the location and figuring out if it was okay. It was about looking in the mirror and asking, am I all right? Am I going to be a different kind of person? Am I going to be the person that I'm saying I'm cool with all that in America? Yet here you are, being the gentrifier, the colonizer, the person that doesn't care about others, that person that shows humility, that meek person that you want to claim to be now. Are you still going to be that person when you got money that goes further? When you have expectations? Non-American destinations, but expat expectations, American expectations. Who are you? Do you know? Have you taken the time to ask yourself in this relocation process? Hopefully, you did tonight. What I need you guys to do is the resources, we put them together. It's your job to get to them, to actually digest them. You guys can go to moodtravelabroad.com. That's two O's in mood, travelabroad.com. There you're going to find resources on Colombia, Mexico, Panama, South Africa. No, I don't represent all of those places. I have an entire team of experts, relocation experts, destination experts, on ground people that will help you. I just do my job to make it a little bit easier on you. This is heavy. You having to look in, who am I? What do I want out of my life? Who and what my values are? What are my ethics? Will this change me? It should change you, just not for the worse. It should change you for the better. Culture shock oftentimes lies in you. So you guys go to moodtravelabroad.com. You're going to get connected with all the free resources that we have. On there, you'll also have relocation consultations where we niche down to what your individual goals are, what your individual problems or challenges are in moving abroad. We also have our relocation in a box, which essentially takes the visa that you need and brings all of it into a box, whether it's the neighborhood tours, the apartment tours, the connections that you need. We also have our relocation tours to give you boots on the ground, showing you the neighborhood, showing you the community, introducing you to the community, bringing you right in front of the experts, the visa, the healthcare, the immigration lawyers, the people that you need to make this a lot easier. I know it's hot in the United States, but you don't have to run out as if you don't know better than to not to look before you leave. I will see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you as always for coming in. For the people that are on YouTube, you guys can click on the links that will get you all of the information. For the people that are not on YouTube, click the link on our bio, or you guys can go to moodtravelabroad.com, get signed up for the relocation tour. If you are serious about 2026 being the year that you move abroad, do yourself a favor. Start at moodtravelabroad.com. Digest some of the resources, message us, get on a consultation. You will talk, we'll get it figured out. But I want y'all to have success. I want y'all to sustain this life abroad and not just think it's just picking a destination in your next Christopher Columbus and giving out colonizer energy, because I am tired of seeing it and I know the global community is too. Don't you be that person. Shame on you. And you know I'm talking about if it's you. I just do my job to make it a little bit easier on you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's going to be another reality check for these 21 days of relocation that we are leaving out of January. Heading into February, it's going to be a beautiful time for all my people that are coming out here. I will see you soon, and I will see you tomorrow. My name is RJ. It has been a pleasure as always. Y'all stay safe. Jump in my DMs, messages, or comments, and let me know what's on your mind. Glad to hear from you guys. Let me know where you're watching this from. I always am interested in that. Let me know where you're watching this from. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let me make sure I don't have anybody in safe as always. Tonight's conversation tomorrow.